Hey guys, I'm Erin with Five Parks Yoga. Thanks for joining me today for this yoga flow on the floor class. So I'm dealing with a very minor foot irritation, having a little trouble putting pressure on my heel. And so I thought, and this has been requested as well, about creating a yoga class for those of you who still really want to work and move, but don't want to be on your feet or your legs for any particular reason. So if you are dealing with a leg or a foot injury and there are any postures that need modifications that we do today, feel free to take those. But we will be on our yoga mats the entire time close to the floor. So without further ado, let's get started. Come into a comfortable seated position. Reach high through the crown of your head. Take a big roll of your shoulders down and away from your ears. Go ahead and close your eyes and begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Take 5 breaths here. If you're familiar and comfortable with Ujjayi breathing, come right away into your Ujjayi breath. Gentle, audible sound at the back of your throat. One more breath here. Open the eyes and let's begin to warm up the core with some stomach grind. So breathe in, lengthen. As you breathe out, begin to shift off to your left with a nice long straight spine. Come forward with a straight spine. Shift to your right. And then as you come back, round your spine. Draw your belly button back and in. Stretch through your shoulder blades. And again, come forward with a straight spine. Come back with a rounded spine. Keep your sitting bones grounded on the floor. Keep a nice firm grip on your knees and begin to pick up the pace for about 5 more. So feel the heat building in your core, feel your spine warming up. Next time you come forward, pause, and then start slow, shift direction. So round as you come back, get that nice stretch between your shoulder blades, and then extend long and straight with your spine as you come forward. Shift and round as you come back. And then we'll begin to pick up the pace here. Keep that grip on your knees, and we'll take about 5 more. And then come all the way around, back to a tall spine. Hopefully you feel a little bit warmer in your torso. And let's continue to warm up the spine with some twists. So breathe in, reach your arms up overhead. As you breathe out, bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand out behind, and then just twist and come back to center. Breathe in and twist, breathe out. Again, with your breath. Come back to center, inhale, exhale off to the left for a side bend. And again, we'll just find the stretch and then come all the way back up. So continue to keep your core engaged as you move with your breath. Breathe in and out. In and out. Come all the way back up. This time take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, press your chest up, press your fists down, and then exhale, hinge forward, and we'll pause this time. Take 3 breaths in your chest expansion. All the way back up. Release your hands. Okay, so we're gonna build heat in the shoulders now. So go ahead and extend your arms straight out to the side, palms face out, pinkies face down, and then rotate your thumbs so they face down. And rotate as much as you can. Maybe your palms face up to the ceiling, and then rotate all the way back around. So just a couple times here, building a little heat as well as mobility in the shoulders, strength in your arms. One more. And then come back, bring your arms all the way up overhead. Breathe in, and then make tight fists with your hands. So just tight, 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 straight up overhead. And begin to extend your fingers long and make fists. And continue to do this. Really active hands. Hopefully your shoulders are nice and warm. Building some strength and mobility now in the joints of your fingers. Now start picking up the pace. Okay, faster. I want to feel your forearms start to really light up. Continue to breathe and keep your spine nice and lifted. So no rounding here. Working on your posture as well. Okay, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. See, you haven't even stood up yet, and hopefully you're feeling warm in your body. I know I am. Okay, let's take a couple of hip stretches here. So bring your feet, the soles of your feet together for Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Scoot your hips towards your heels to the edge of your stretch. Take your hands around your ankles and then just hinge forward at your hips, pressing your knees or your elbows toward your knees and the crown of your head forward. And take another breath here. Come all the way back up. And from this position, just bring your legs wide into a straddle position. So for seated straddle splits, knees and toes point up toward the ceiling, active in your legs. You can either stay here with an upright spine with your hands behind your hips, or you can walk your hands forward, coming down onto your forearms. Still early in class, and for me, it's early in the day, so feeling a little tight, take it slow, but stay active, okay? Don't let your quads relax or your knees fall forward. Just take one more breath here. Come all the way back up. And just bring your legs back together. I'm going to turn sideways on my mat. If you need to do the same, go ahead. And from here, we're going to come into a boat pose. So keep your spine lifted. Lift your legs up off of the floor, extend your arms long, hold here. Now, depending on what you're dealing with in your legs, maybe nothing at all. I hope not for your own sake. You can start to straighten and bend opposite leg one at a time. So you're building heat, strength in your core, strength in your quadriceps, flexibility in your hamstrings possibly, depending on how tight you are. One more on each side. Maybe straighten both legs, hold it for 3, 2, 1. Now let's come into low boat hover. So heels and shoulders over your mat, shaking. For 3, 2, 1, and then lower all the way down onto your back. We're going to take another hip stretch here. Keep your left leg extended long and then draw your right knee toward your right shoulder. Tight grip around your knee, draw your knee up and in. Active in your legs, flex your toes back. Bring your right leg back towards center. Extend your right leg up toward the sky or the ceiling, and then hold on to the back of your right leg. Now from here, flex and point your right foot. A circle in one direction, a circle in the other direction, and then begin to walk your hands up the back of your leg. Lift your shoulders off of your mat and then lift your left leg up off the floor. Now from here, extend your arms forward and then just pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lower back down and bring your left leg straight up toward the ceiling. Bring your arms to a capital T, palms face down. And then from here, you're gonna lower your legs either straight or bent to the right. Press firmly into the ground. And without touching them down, come all the way back up to center. Take it to the left. And again. To the right. And left. Come back to center. Now keep your left leg extended up toward the ceiling. Right leg comes to hover. Hold on to the back of your left leg and then start to walk your hands up the back of your left leg. Okay, extend your arms forward and then pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your right leg to the floor, keep your left leg lifted. Flex and point your left foot. Circle in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. And then bring your left knee toward your left shoulder. So interlace hands around your left leg, squeeze it up and in nice and tight, and then flex both feet, active in both arms. Good. And release. Now take both feet down onto your mat, arms alongside your body. Press firmly into your feet and lift your hips up off the floor for bridge pose. Just opening up the front of the body. Nice and active in your legs. Breathe in. And breathe out. Bring your hips just right down to your mat and then lift up again. And continue. And just pick up the pace a little bit more. Last time, come all the way down to your mat. Let's take another hip stretch while we're here for reclined pigeon. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and lift your left leg up off the floor. Hold on to your thigh or your shin. Nice stretch here for your hip and your glute. And switch it out. So left ankle over right knee. Draw your right knee up, hands around your thigh or your shin. And release. Take a little roll along the length of your spine. Come into a tabletop position. So we'll continue to do some strength building moves as well as building flexibility at the same time. So let's take 3 rounds of cat-cow, lifting the crown of your head and your tailbone on your inhale and then rounding, hollowing out your belly on your exhale. And again. Last time. And come back to neutral. For spinal balance, lift your right arm forward and your left leg back. Hold here with a nice flat back. Breathe in here. Breathe out, round elbow to knee. And again. Breathe out, round. Again, round elbow to knee. Come back into extension and then bend your left leg. Take your foot from the inside for Swan Pose. Lift up, get a nice stretch here. Extend back to spinal balance. Now take your right arm to the right and your left leg to the left. Flex your toes, hold it. Come back. And then place your right hand down on the floor. Leave your left leg in extension out behind you. Take your right toes and bring them to the edge of your mat. Keep that left leg lifted. So now you're in a modified side plank. You can look up at your fingertips. Extend your left arm to the front of your mat. And then similar to what we did in spinal balance, but now we're lifted onto our sides. Let's round elbow to knee. Tap it. And again. And again. Last time, stretch and tabletop. All right, let's do that on the other side. So extend your left arm forward and your right leg back. Hold here. Flat back, one long line from fingertips to toes. Breathe in. Breathe out, round, elbow to knee. Extend and round. Again. Come back into full extension and then bend your right leg. Reach your left hand around for the inside of your foot. Kick your foot into your hand and come into swan. And gentle release, left arm forward, right arm back, or right leg back. Then left hand down to the floor. Keep your right leg lifted. Kick your left toes to the left and come into a modified side plank. Extend your right arm up. Keep that right leg lifted. Extend your right arm forward. Okay, now you're gonna tap elbow to knee again and extend. Okay, come back to tabletop, or right hand down to the floor, come back to spinal balance. Lift your left arm up, bring your left arm to the left, your right leg to the right, and hold it. Back to spinal balance. And tabletop. Separate your knees to about mat distance apart. Walk your hips back to your heels for child's pose. One more breath here. And then come back forward into a modified plank. So keep your knees on the floor, walk them back behind your hips, and with chaturanga arms, so elbows stay in, back stays flat, gaze stays slightly forward, lower down to hover, and then press back up. This is good practice for your chaturangas. Okay, again, building strength in your arms. Keep going. Just for 2 more. Last time. Okay, this time lower all the way down onto your belly. We're gonna do some spine strengthening postures now. So bring your feet to about mat distance. Arms straight off to the side, palms face down. As you breathe in, lift everything up off the floor, hold. Press through the balls of your feet, active through your glutes, building strength in your arms. Now bring your feet to about hip distance apart, so slightly in. Bring your arms straight forward, out in front of you at shoulder distance apart. And then from here, you're gonna draw your elbows back and then forward. So you're building strength in your upper back and your arms. Last one. Extend your arms forward and then just go ahead and pedal your arms and your feet. For 2. And 1. Bring your arms alongside your body. Rest your left ear on your mat. Take a deep breath here. And then bring your chin back to center. Bring your hands behind your back for a chest expansion. Lift your fists toward your heels and then lift your heels off the floor. Deep breaths in and out through your nose. If you can, keep everything lifted up off the floor. Bend your legs, reach your hands around for your feet, and then come into upward bow pose. Nice back bend and heart opener here. And release, opposite ear to the mat. Rest, take a deep breath. And press all the way back and come into a seated position. Bend both legs, take your feet flat to the floor at hip distance apart. Take your hands underneath your shoulders with your middle finger pointing toward the front of your mat. As you breathe in, lift your hips up off the floor. So now you've got a nice flat spine again, but this time your stomach is facing the ceiling. Slight bend in your elbows. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring your hips to hover between your hands. Hold. All right, and then come all the way back to this reverse tabletop position. Hips between your hands. Again. Last time. Pause, hold it, suck your belly in, and release. From here, lift your arms up overhead, seated forward fold, hinge forward. Release from your fold. One last core strengthener and arm balance, scale pose. So take your right foot to your left foot to your right hip for half lotus, and then opposite foot to opposite hip for full lotus. Place your hands right slightly behind your hips. Lift your knees up, hold. And then come forward, lift your hips up, knees down, hold. Come back, lift your knees, and then lift your hips at the same time, hold. And release. Go ahead and bring your feet back out in front of you. Reach your arms forward, slowly lower down. Come into happy baby pose. Separate your knees and your feet. Hold on to your ankles, toes, feet, whatever is accessible to you, and then rock side to side. Bring your knees back to center. Make a little ball. And then release your knees to the right, gaze to the left for a spinal twist. Take 3 breaths here. And back to center and release to the opposite side. Take 3 breaths here. Come back to center. One last little squeeze here. Release your legs long on your mat. Arms down by your side. Take a deep breath in, hold it. Let it go through your mouth. Close your lips, begin to breathe softly here. Release into your final posture of your practice, Shavasana. Let your body be heavy on the floor. Maybe take a quick body scan starting from your toes. Moving your way up your body, relaxing each part of your body. Please enjoy the rest of your Shavasana for as long as you have time for. Thank you for joining me today. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart.